Heard you a snitch, nigga be quiet cause you could get bitch. I keep a chopper, it's loaded. Hop with the rolls, got my name on the curtain. Fucking your thought and I do that for certain. And I stay clean like detergent. Popping on Xannies and popping on Perk. Burn up on me, you get cut like a turkey. I just want this bitch inside of Billy. I'm open no roof, got stars up on the roof. So my freedom.
Well, I did not think I would be recording this early. Once again, I got a stroke of fucking genius, even though this has been done before. I don't think it's been done to death. It's been a while, and I haven't seen any of the people who have done this. I just know some of the names. So whoever done this first, I give homage. This is What If Izuku Midoriya Had the Mask. Anti-hero story. I'm putting that shit out of the way right now because in the most literal sense, the mask is the embodiment of why not? You need to be in a specific mindset, I've come to realize, to do videos. And for the mask, you need to take acid. It's just, think of the most outrageous shit. And that is how you kill someone. This will be an episode 0. You're probably going to be getting this the same day that I post it. Why? I want to see your guys' reaction. All like 400 of you people. Which, hey, we hit 400. That's still kind of neat. But, yeah, no. This is the comic version. I'm not going to be on that fuck shit with that. Oh, Loki's involved. No. I'm literally just gonna do and comics. Because Lord have mercy. Now, I'm not finished with the comics yet. So this will be non-canon. But I'm considering something stupid. I'm really considering putting it in the mask. In Doctor Doom series. I'm like this fucking close. I'm like antsy. Just a little bit. Because just the outrageous shit that you do with that mask, blah, is dumb. But we're gonna start off with with Inko specifically. It used to be a part of a small little ring of smugglers / thieves. These thieves steal things from museums, sometimes even go treasure hunting, and instead of just giving that shit in that fashion of, it belongs in a museum, fucking, know what that belongs in my pocket, so I could pawn it off. like that's the level of, she doesn't give a fuck about human history. But in this one, I'm going to say Batman and the entirety of the Justice League universe fits and is in, so yeah. This is Inko mid-20s, right? Inko, one of, her last haul, because she just realized that her husband got her pregnant. And I was like, alright, the last haul, this will be my fallback plan. So, they ended up going to a rumored, kind of a rumored small temple in the middle of the Himalayas. Like, no one knew what was gonna be there. They were just hoping, yes, Himalayans. No one's gonna really be fucking with it. So, one moment. My bad, I had to burp, but yeah, they were expecting, like, being able to get, like, gold shit, to be honest. Nope. This old wooden carved mask, and that's it. And it had these old fucking ancient runes and warnings on it. And like, they read them, and it says, this mask is the embodiment of chaos. This mask is the dark side of your personality. This mask is chaos in its own right. To put on this mask is to become a different person. Like a drunk after a war, you will need it to survive. It becomes an addiction. Which is why we killed the last user and stored it here, never to be found again. Now, when Inko read this, like, she didn't give a fuck. She picked it up, and he was like, oh, you taking that fucking thing? I was like, yeah. There's nothing else here, might as well. Gets walking off. As she took it off the little plinth that it was on, usual Indiana Jones events happen, but a lot more cartoony. Like, it's weird. It's almost like someone dumped in some actual cartoon shit from a child's book and just made it a lot more deadly. So what ended up happening was the only person that survived was Inko. She does have a pretty bad scar on her back, but she was already a pretty kind of scarred up lady from get-go. And Inko kind of had that mentality, well, if they're not going to use it anymore because they're dead, so she took all of their money. And all of them were pretty set up. They had money, weapons, guns, ammunition. Like, when they were here, they were expecting, all right, maybe some wildlife. Nothing. Dead. There was literally nothing here. It's like a force of nature just kept animals away from this place. And no one knew why. But they were like, okay, that's how we're going to do this then. So, all in all, it just kind of went back and forth in all retrospect. Because when she ended up getting down the hill, she didn't really know what the fuck the mask did. And she did write down everything on that plinth into her notebook that is basically right next to the mask in her bag. Excuse me. Whew. So, we're going to skip a couple weeks. When, the mask, when she actually, decided to put the damn thing on, because it was like, okay, I don't believe in any of these fucking rumors, puts it on. And, imagine this. but with the bun. Like, that's basically it. She feels great. But what she doesn't know, and since Izuku is technically a parasite, hold on, is that Izuku at this point in his parasitic stage of him being like an embryonic baby, and yes, technically all babies were parasites by definition, but the most weird thing, Izuku was just kind of getting changed around mentally and like physically. I'm gonna say quirks and shit still do exist, but also metahumans. Basically just like people with superpowers. Like I said, they're few and far between, but when they are there, they're apparent. Like, it's still a thing. People like Lex and stuff like that. So, the interesting thing is, when she put it on, across Japan, specific, like, temples of the Shaolin, just like a gong rang. A gong that had no one next to it. Because there were runes on those gongs where if the mask was placed on someone, those would ring. And like only like people that have been in the monastery for a solid, like damn near from birth, know what that gong does and why it's there. But they all kind of lost faith in it. Because why? It's never gonna ring. And then one day it just fucking bongs out. Which the people that did grow up there are like, no fucking way. Hey, so like, almost immediately the Shaolin monks seemingly begin like preparing. But since, unknowing to Inko, something is happening to baby Izuku while the mask is on and active, now you're saying, like, wait, is he gonna have the mask's abilities, like, without the mask? No, he's just gonna be better attuned with it. Meaning he's not gonna go batshit insane when he puts it on. Which also in turn means some of the back effects of the mask will not affect Izuku in the same way that it would a normal person. Because this sounds weird, but since Izuku is technically still sharing the body and technically is still a part of Inko, biologically and kind of mentally at the same time, what's happening with Izuku could be seen as a multitude of things. It could be seen as, oh, he's a metahuman by doctors and other forms of things. It's weird because her husband is not a metahuman. Granted, metahumans pop up at random, but it's more likely that, hey, there's a possibility that there's a higher chance of metahuman genes being passed down the family tree, if you know what I'm saying. So, like when Hasashi figured it out, it was like, he's gonna stay faithful, but like he's still gonna ask for the test. Yes, but like it's not like she keeps it on all the time, the mask. which is why Izuku's not able to use the bullshit powers of the mask off jump. Because let me tell you something. Because if a baby used the mask, I don't want to know what happened to that baby. And you're probably like, wait, wasn't like Son of the Mask like that? No. 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 God damn no. Like, what you don't understand. That was only like during the act, though. This is like basically during all the stages of gestation of like Inko, damn near. Because like I said, the mask is addictive. Because you feel like God. You don't feel pain. You don't. Oh, you're different. You're literally, in the most best way that I could put it, just built differently. Hell, some would stretch that you aren't human when you put the mask on. Which, to be honest, I kind of believe it. Because, flat out, like, I haven't seen the decapitation process if someone like, oh, head, gone. And I'm pretty sure, like, the mask would be fine, same with the host. Because they have cartoon regeneration, which is basically just like, oh, stitch me back on and I'll be fine. That's basically it. Which is scary. Because Izuku by himself, he's not going to be a problem. Izuku with the mask as like someone like 15. And if he's in a good mind state, he can handle the mask. But like if he's like mid-breakup, he's depressed and shit, you know what's gonna happen? Everything that made him sad will no longer exist on this mortal coil. Like, dead ass. Yes, he doesn't give a fuck. Izuku, if he has the mask, is a time bomb. Do not piss him off. That is the end all be all. Do not piss him off when he's wearing that mask. You're dead. But back to the Shaolin monks. I'm not gonna lie to you, they kick up their training significantly. Granted, there are some that don't know what's happening, but the people that are in the know stay there. The people that aren't leave because they are told to, who find enlightenment in their own way. Like, just trying to be cryptic to kind of like find your path in life. Like, just one of those. Try to get him fuck out the temple. Like, so, like, eventually there was this big-ass meeting of, like, the masters of each, like, temple specifically. And the people who were, like, basically born into the Shaolin, like, all of it. And I mean all of it. Is like that entire meeting is literally about what we weren't told what to do when this happened. Like, we just were told to protect ourselves, and that's it. But other than that, we don't have much to do. So, while like the Shaolin have been basically turtling up, getting ready for what would seem to be the end, Inko gives birth. And yes, I know I'm skipping over some things. There has been killings. don't don't you think don't you think that Inko was like perfectly fine as the mask? Matter of factly, she was a bit more bold, but other than that, she didn't give a fuck. Fuck. Like, she was already pretty much just a writhing bitch by herself. Like, the mask didn't really change anything. And, like, she still acted the same way towards Hazashi, even with the mask on. Which Hazashi would eventually figure out, that mask, that mask is that, okay. Oh, fuck me. Yeah, I have a child with a psycho, which, yeah, that's kind of it. But, like, here's one of the, like, most pertinent things. Since, like, Inko, and I'm saying this now, the reason that she didn't go to, like, the hospital is because she was wearing the mask when it happened, when her water broke. So she ended up going back to the house because they already kind of had this shit set up. And, like, she didn't really, like, get into fights where she would be shot. She just, like, okay, that's Nathan. Oh, Nathan's dead. Crushed him with a piano. Like, one of those. But when Izuku's born is one of the most weirdest things. Because when Izuku's born, the mask just straight up falls off of Inko's face. Like, it's... like, as soon as Izuku comes out, de-transform, mask falls off face. And to put it frankly, she don't know what the fuck just happened. But, like, when she goes to put the mask back on, it's not working for her anymore. Or Hazashi. Or anything. Like, it's just not doing it. But, like, Izuku's just kind of, as a baby, have even greener eyes. And I'm talking emerald green, pierce your soul eyes. I'm talking... One moment. Alright, so you know Gojo's eyes. That, but blue, like green. Emerald green. I'm talking about this man looks like he actually has emeralds for, like, pupils and shit. It actually looks like crystals. And, like, doctors immediately kind of like, oh, what's this? Who is this? Who's the father? Just, like, making sure all this, like, wait, no, she's not at a fucking, oh, this is gonna be weird. There's gonna be a fucking newborn metahuman. Oh, fuck. That's not allowed. Alright, so, when, like, they realize, oh shit, baby was born, and, like, Inko's, like, not doing great, but she's not terrible. You know what I mean? She'll survive. It's fucking painful. You know what I mean? So, like, when they realize, oh shit, baby's born, they do eventually, like, hey, they do eventually ring up the PD to get, like, an amber lamps, because fuck, that's a baby. Maybe, and they want to make sure he's healthy. And the weird thing is, like, Izuku, as a baby, is so fucking self-aware of everything. And it's just like, what the fuck? Like, the doctors are just fucking... They're confused on how, like, self-aware this baby is just out the womb. Like, I'm not saying the baby's smart, but this baby's instincts are on fucking point. Like, and I mean to the T on point. There is, as I quote, like, way too on point, and it's kind of uncomfortable. But, like, the most weird thing, about, like, how Izuku is just, he doesn't, no one really knows, excuse me, what in the goddamn, like, his powers are. But they think, oh, it's like an instinct-based thing. Like, they just know he has powers. Quirks do exist, but there are metahumans, which are just off-rip better than regular people, and better than people with quirks. Like, the thing that's strange about Izuku, like, they have to keep him in there for, like, a day, because they wanted to make sure, your baby's okay. And Inko had to stay there, like, over the night, because she had to get, like, checked. Like, no one knew what the fuck was going on, but, like, for some reason, her hips were just fucked, and no one knew why. Why? It was kind of because of the birth, but no one knows how it happened in the slightest. So, we're gonna skip to when, like, Izuku's 3, when Katsuki got his quirk. Now, when Izuku comes across Katsuki bullying someone, now, Izuku has only been, like, he hasn't shown off anything, like, ever. He doesn't see a need to show off. Because his father knew, like, damn near, off rip, something was up. And same with his mom, so they just, like, don't show off any powers if you have any, sweetie. It's just, like, and Izuku's a good kid still. Kinda, sorta. But he is prone to just, like, snapping off a fucking hair trigger. Like, and I mean, if it's kind of like if a tree falls in the middle of the forest, did it really fall if no one's there to hear it or see it? Like, it's one of those conundrums, because the way Izuku acts for being 3 years old, he acts like he's 10. And I don't know about y'all, but I was a manipulative little shit when I was 10 years old. Because I got my friends to do things that they sure as shit weren't supposed to do. But hey, I didn't get in trouble. Matter of fact, I found it funny, because they were assholes. But, yeah, no. When like, Izuku, specifically, in the middle of that, he told Katsuki to stop. He said, "What are you gonna do about it?" And as we all know, my Izukus are skeevy little shits. Like, and this one is certainly no exception. So, like, he's like, okay. So he just starts running at Katsuki and seemingly trips. Now, immediately, Katsuki's like, oh, look at this dumbass. So he just runs up on him, lifts his leg up looking down at him, eyes wide, smiling, calling him a dumbass. Now, during that, Izuku grabbed some sand and threw it in his eyes, flipped him onto his back, and started just fucking manhandling him. Like, now, he had like 3 other people there. They tried to help, but then Izuku began using Katsuki almost like a human shield and just started having everybody kind of punch Katsuki in the face. So, like, after, like, Katsuki's just fucking not okay, just, like, bloody nose, his loose tooth came flying out along with, like, another tooth that was not an adult tooth. And, like, here's the most interesting thing about it, right? When it comes down to, like, Katsuki and, like, all of his friends, like, they don't even touch Izuku. They don't know why. He's just too, like, he's abnormally fast. And I mean, like, just barely, like, fast enough to dodge hits. And what Izuku knows is to be a skeevy fuck. Like, he just knows it off rip. So, like, what he does, you know those old plastic baskets that are shaped like sand castles? So, like, what he did, he put it over Stretchy Finger's head, bent him down, and kneed him in the nose. Nose with the bucket still on his head, causing it to break. Then using said bucket to smash into fat winged dude. And to be honest, just started beating the shit out of them, right? Like, I don't know what else to say. This Izuku is violent. He's not the Mask violent, but he is vicious. I don't know what to tell you. Like, Izuku is that type of person to use the Joker joy buzzer. You know what I mean? Like, to grab your back, like, small your back directly on your spine and activate a taser. Like, that Izuku don't fuck around. He is fucking mean. And no one knows why, especially when he's fighting. Because, like, granted, Izuku's 3, but he will beat the shit out of you. Like, and it's apparent. It doesn't care. He does not care in the slightest how old you are. If you want to throw hands, throw them. I'll dodge and hit you in your nuts. Like, that's the level. But, like, seemingly, like, after everything's done, there's that other kid there still, like, sitting that was just watching in awe and kind of like, oh shit. Izuku just walks up to him, picks him up, dusts him off, smiles and say, want to get ice cream? And he's like, okay. And this would be one of his nerdy friends known as John. This kid, how can I put it? They were both, like, pretty big hero nerds. But the interesting thing, John's father worked for LexCorp. And to be all honest with you, John is more or less one of those types of people that, like, he's not rich. Hold on. But, like, he has the demeanor, even though he's short and, like, kind of nerdy looking, that demands respect. because Izuku is basically playing muscle for him through like middle school and kindergarten. Just like people that mess with him get Izuku and no one messes with him. Now, when he does go to middle school, that's a different story. When he does reach middle school, we're going to go all the way up to college. I'm letting you know that now. Because that's when the actual hero shit starts. Well, that's when UA would be letting people in. But, there are other schools that are better than UA in this. So, because there are people like the Teen Titans that exist in this. And since, for fucking safety's sake, I'm just going to say this is in the US, and I'm going to say, hey, this is in West Chicago, the place that I know well because I live there. But, specifically in West Chi, like, everywhere's kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are some really nice neighborhoods, and then there are, like, bottom of the barrel. You live right next to a fucking, like, a train stop, and you have to deal with the sound of fucking trains all night long. Doesn't matter at what time. 2 a.m., 1 a.m., don't matter. This shit's just going. And for safety's sake, they just live in a regular house. They don't live in the usual duplex or apartment building. They just live in a regular house because I'm personally not about to give Izuku my kind of treatment. But, yeah. When it comes down to how Izuku acts in this, he is more of, well, is mostly, oh, you fucking with John, huh? No, fucking step up then, pussy. Like, that is the level that he's on. And John only has an intelligence quirk. Like, when he gets older, it'll go up to possibly just underneath Lex Luthor's knowledge because of the low budget place that he's in, and just because of that. But in all reality, Izuku is extremely intelligent, like as smart as John, which is nothing to scoff at all. And the weird thing is, middle school is when the recognition of like cliques exist, right? You have your loners who just sit and roam wherever the fuck they want, depending on the day. You have the goth kids, all that shit. Because cliques are very much a thing, well, at least where I was when I was in middle school. Well, and especially in the place of where, like, some of my friends went to middle school, that place was pretty, like, very cliquey, if you understand what I mean. Just a lot of cliques. But, more importantly, there was always the group of, like, quote-unquote rich kids. Now, in all reality, Izuku and John were they were technically a part of the group, but only John was. But one of the main reasons that Izuku was there is because sometimes when people are bullied in middle school and high school and other types of things, you have an allowance. And that allowance allows you to pay people to fight people. And because that has happened multiple times. You think those fucking stories on 4chan are fake? Nah, I've done it because I was fucking like, I was a spindly ass kid, but I was tall. And to be honest, when you could trip people pretty easily, you get into fights. Especially in places like, what was the name of that school? Indianola. Fucking that place. It was a good school overall. They knew their shit. But like, more times than not, the music teachers were hard asses. But other than that, you're fine. But back to the story. The only reason Izuku was there is because, to be honest, he was really just like the beat the shit up out of this person for this amount of money. Which, like, Izuku only costed like $15. Which, granted, when you're like 10, 11, and higher, that's just kind of high. But when like the higher priority targets, like if there was like clearly a guy who had like a fuck ton of friends that always hung around him, just like that kind of thing. People like, not like Bakugo, but close to, you know what I mean? But yeah, people like Bakugo, not really, but like people that hang around, like people that are on teams and shit. More specifically, like that entire like mentality of, oh, we're a team in basketball, we should be friends, type shit. Like Izuku has had to fight damn near like an entire fucking basketball team before. Because fuck. And I'm saying like damn near everyone. Because Izuku, who isn't about that, I'm gonna be patient. No. Oh, he is that kid that will like specifically like wait until they're off school grounds and out of like sight of everybody. Take the fucking baseball bat that he stashed and get to work. Like that. Izuku wasn't seen as a troubled child because he never started fights on school grounds. Ever. Not once. And the only time that, like, hey, he got caught, and it wasn't even by someone that he knew was there, it was just by the principal, because, like, people were, like, complaining that Izuku was fighting people off school grounds, and the principal couldn't do anything. And, like, one day, he decided, no, what, fuck it, I'm gonna go and see. Why is he doing this? Because Izuku's only fighting people that have had, like, bullying claims on them, which is weird. Which means, like, oh, he's bullying the bullies. What the hell is going on? So, like, when it comes down to it, like, on a Friday, Izuku was supposed to fight the, fuck it, I'm gonna say, hey, that it was, like, mainly the basketball team, right? Right, because why not? So, what he was waiting for in all reality, Izuku, to get, like, off school ground and start doing what they usually do. Because you would think, like, Izuku's that type of person to pick people up. No, granted, he hasn't lost a fight ever. Because the way Izuku fights is so fucking skeevy, like, and just so fucking off the top of his skull. It's just, what the fuck is he doing? Like, no one knows. He's actually basically unpredictable to fight. For instance, if Taskmaster were to have tried to fight him, he would have the same problem that he would have with Deadpool. Like, that is the level of motherfucker. Like, he just doesn't like it. And people that do know how to fight have been like, hey, big bro, this person's been beating my ass. All right, I'll go sort it out. Next thing you know, they end up in crutches. And that person's like halfway in high school. So like this person's just getting their ass beat by this middle schooler with a baseball bat, and that's it. So like I said, back to the main topic. The people are usually like that stay together. They all do what they usually do. They go down on an alley to reach a little basketball court. Now, what they didn't know is A, that Izuku just was waiting. Just kind of had a sandbag, and I mean like, not a military issue, but like a bag that he filled with sand, waiting at the intersection of the alleyway, that he ended up tying off to like a telephone pole, which basically allowed it to swing. Because what his plan was to, when this hit somebody, go in with the bat while they're all confused. So, what ended up happening was pretty, like, shiesty. What ended up happening was, like, it hit, like, 4 out of, like, a good amount, like, I'm gonna say, 16, because 16 is a good number. And that about works with his skill set at the moment. 16 people, not, like, none of them are metahumans, but they are quirked. And I'm gonna say, in a superhero society, you aren't really allowed to use your quirks in sports yet, because I don't know. I don't know about that one, Chief. You know what I mean? But more specifically, when Izuku went in, and the principal was just watching from the other side of the alley, and they just seen these kids just get fucking, like, damn near, most of them get knocked on their ass by a sandbag, which, like, almost immediately, like, pops because there was a firecracker in it, which caused some of the people just to straight up get sand in their eyes. And then he just sees Izuku with a baseball bat, taking it to people's knees and shit. Just, like, not giving a damn. Some of the people that weren't blinded attempted to fight back, and, like, the principal was recording, and, like, Izuku, during this entire time, had this big-ass smile on his face. He's beating the shit out of these people. He got to, like, 16. He got to the last guy, and then finally knocked his ass out with his bare hands. And then he was just huffing. It was like, fuck. That was... Oh, fuck. Like, Izuku actually did get hit that time, which kind of gave him a shock, because he never felt pain before, which kind of pissed him off. Well, he did feel pain before, but it was, like, not like a fight. That shit, he got hit in the ribs with his own baseball bat. That shit hurt. But, like, the principal was just there. He was like, huh. And he, like, stopped recording and just started, like, walking away. And, like, Izuku seen him there, and he was like, okay. So, like, what he ended up doing was, like, sneaking up behind him. And as he put his phone in his pocket, he took the phone and just ran away with that shit. So what he ended up doing was just destroying it. Like, and I mean, like, throwing, like, putting all sorts of weird shit on it because he didn't shut it off. And it wasn't in sleep mode yet, so, like, he had full access to his phone. So what he did was delete everything, like, change the fucking password, and just sold it to a pawn shop. As well as, like, those kids' shoes that he beat up. Which, like, granted, that shit's kind of suspicious, but, like, this person knows Izuku because he has done a lot more than just steal people's shoes. Like, it's kind of apparent. Because his son goes to the school and actually paid Izuku cash. So, like, in all reality, Izuku on that hustling spree. So, yeah. This is where I'm going to end it. We didn't get to the, what I wanted to. But I'm pretty sure this is all the shit he could do without the mask. 16 people, only getting hit once. Which was lucky to begin with. So, yeah. I hope all of you have enjoyed all that good shit. And, yeah.